Have you ever imagined the Fantastic Four without Mr. Fantastic, or even without the Thing? Yeah, believe it or not, over the decades, this legendary Marvel team has had so many different lineups that you could almost form a real substitute hero club. Today, you're going to meet 10 characters who've been part of the Fantastic Four. From iconic figures who shape generations to appearances so unexpected they feel like fan fiction, but they're real. Oh, and stick around until the end, because the last hero on this list is going to blow your mind. She-Hulk. She came in with a bang, literally. She-Hulk was the first female hero to officially join the Fantastic Four as a replacement for one of the original members. And it wasn't just any replacement. She took over for the Thing. This happened in issue number 265 of Fantastic Four, released in 1984. Ben Grimm had left the team after the events of Secret Wars, and that's when Jennifer Walters stepped in. And she didn't just pass through, either. She-Hulk stayed for 2 whole years as an official member, appearing in no less than 35 issues. With her sharp sense of humor, raw strength, and a personality completely different from the Thing's, Jen brought a whole new vibe to the team. Instead of the classic gloomy bruiser, the team got a charismatic member who had fun being a hero and smashing things. Sometimes, literally. This phase is so loved that many fans still consider She-Hulk an honorary 5th member of the team. It was one of the longest, most stable replacements, with a unique chemistry with the rest of the group. Crystal. Before Medusa or Black Bolt became more well-known, it was Crystal who first represented the Inhumans in the Fantastic Four. And her entrance wasn't subtle at all. She came in strong in Fantastic Four Volume 1, issue number 45, back in December 1965. The same saga that introduced the city of Adelon and the Inhuman race to the Marvel Universe for the first time. Johnny Storm was having a romance with Crystal. And it was this love connection that brought her closer to the team. But she didn't just stay as the Human Torch's girlfriend. Crystal proved herself to be a valuable ally with her elemental powers. She can control the 4 elements of nature, which makes her one of the most versatile characters to ever be on the team. During her time with the Fantastic Four, she acted as an active member, facing cosmic threats, traveling through the multiverse, and showing she was much more than just a princess from Attilan. Her presence also deepened the Inhumans' place in the Marvel Universe, tying together the cosmic and urban storylines in the publisher's world. Even after leaving the team, Crystal kept ties with the members and returned for other adventures. She's a true honorary member of the first family of Marvel. Ghost Rider, Danny Ketch. Yep, you didn't hear it wrong. Ghost Rider was actually part of the Fantastic Four. And it wasn't just any version. It was Danny Ketch, the one from the 90s, with the flaming chain and that darker vibe. This crazy moment happened in the saga that goes from Fantastic Four number 347 to number 349, released in 1991. The arc is known as New Fantastic Four, and it was so bold that it became a cult favorite among fans. The original team was out of action, and that's when a totally unexpected new lineup came in, with Danny alongside 3 other heroes we'll get into later. Danny stood out in this team because he brought that supernatural weight that no other version of the group had. It was like someone took Marvel's toughest characters and threw them into a mission full of fighting, weird creatures, and interdimensional demons. Even though it was a short stint, this lineup became legendary. So much so that it's been revisited in special issues, and is still remembered as the most anti-Fantastic Four version in history. And Ghost Rider, with his insane look and fiery thirst for justice, was a key player in this madness. Luke Cage. Before he became the owner of Harlem on Netflix, Luke Cage had already made his mark in the pages of the Fantastic Four, and it was a memorable entrance, full of fights, drama, and even an identity crisis. He joined the team in Fantastic Four issues number 168 to number 170, released in 1976. It all started when the Thing went through an emotional transformation and temporarily left the team. With the team shorthanded, Reed Richards hired Luke Cage as a professional substitute. Yep, they literally paid him to be part of the Fantastic Four. At the time, Luke was still known as the hero for hire. So it made sense in the story. But what seemed like just a side job ended up turning into one of the most interesting interactions in the classic phase of the group. Luke brought a tough, no-nonsense urban vibe. He wasn't a scientist or an astronaut. He was a street guy with raw strength and attitude. Even though he was only around for a short time, his stint in the Fantastic Four gave us some memorable scenes and showed how the team could step out of its comfort zone and still make it work. Plus, he helped take on heavy threats like the villain Power Broker, all while dealing with internal struggles within the team itself. And man, Scott Lang. You think Scott Lang is just good for size jokes? Well, guess what? He was actually part of the Fantastic Four, and in a phase full of twists and turns. He joined the team in Fantastic Four, issue number 384, released in 1994. And his entry wasn't by chance. Reed Richards had died on a mission. Yeah, one of those classic comic book temporary deaths. And the team was left without its brilliant strategist. That's when they called Scott, who, besides being an Avenger, was also a brilliant electronic engineer and had the experience to deal with bizarre scientific threats. Even with his usual clumsy vibe, he fit in well with the team and showed he was much more than just a comic hero. During this phase, the team faced cosmic threats, interdimensional experiments, and even internal conflicts. And there was Scott, shrinking down, hacking systems, invading alien technologies, and helping to keep the group running. It was a transitional period, but it was essential to show that the Fantastic Four's legacy goes beyond the original lineup, and that unlikely heroes can step up when the world needs them. Grey Hulk. Yo, fix it. You know the Emerald Hulk, all furious and out of control. But what not many people remember is that the gray mafioso version, known as Joe Fixit, was also part of the Fantastic Four, and it was epic. This happened in the same saga we mentioned earlier, Fantastic Four number 347 to number 349 from 1991. With the original members out of action, a new lineup was quickly called in, and Joe Fixit was one of the three heroes who joined Ghost Rider, Danny Ketch, on this totally out-of-the-box mission. Unlike the classic Hulk, Joe Fixit was more rational, sarcastic, and worked as security in Las Vegas. Yeah, the guy was basically a greenish-gray mobster. Still, when the fighting starts, he proves he's still the Hulk, with enough raw strength to smash any threat. Seeing the Grey Hulk working alongside other unlikely heroes, forming an alternate version of the Fantastic Four, is one of those gems only 90s comics could give us. And the craziest part? It actually worked. The chaotic chemistry between the members of this temporary team became cult favorite among fans. And to this day, many still ask for a return of this lineup. Medusa. When the Invisible Woman had to step away from the Fantastic Four in the 70s for personal and family reasons, it was Medusa, the Queen of the Inhumans, who took her place and brought a whole new dynamic to the team. Even though she was first introduced to the public back in Fantastic Four number 36, in March 1965, her debut as an official team member came years later, in the 70s. During a time when Sue Storm was taking a break from her heroic duties, Medusa came in as a temporary replacement, but she didn't just fill in as a placeholder. With her living, superpowered hair, which she controls like it's her arms, she brought a totally different fighting style. Besides her striking appearance, her royal demeanor and firm decision-making helped keep the team balanced during a time of transition. She faced heavy-hitting villains, went on space missions, and even had to deal with the team's internal tensions, which made many readers really connect with her during this phase. Medusa proved she could honor the Invisible Woman's legacy without trying to copy her. She brought her own strength, her own story, and showed she was worthy of being part of Marvel's first family. Black Panther. He didn't come to play. He came to lead. Black Panther, the King of Wakanda, and one of the most respected heroes in the Marvel Universe, officially joined the Fantastic Four after the events of Civil War. Yeah, the same saga that split the heroes and shook up the entire Marvel Universe. At that chaotic time, with Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman stepping back from the team to rethink their marriage and their positions in the hero war, it was T'Challa who took the reins. And he didn't come alone. He brought his wife, Storm, forming one of the most powerful and charismatic duos the team's ever had. This phase started in the late 2000s and marked a total shift in the team's style. The Fantastic Four, which was always more about scientific exploration and cosmic adventures, started having a more political, strategic, and even spiritual vibe. Thanks to Black Panther's worldview, with his brilliant mind, combat skills, and Wakandan tech, T'Challa brought a whole new type of leadership. He wasn't just a substitute, he was one of the most efficient leaders the group's ever had. Cold, calculating, and always one step ahead of the enemies. Even though this lineup was temporary, it's still remembered with respect today and proved that Black Panther has enough clout to take on any position within Marvel's hero pantheon, including stepping into Reed Richards' shoes. Wolverine. If you thought the Fantastic Four was all about science and family, Wolverine came to prove you wrong. And yes, he's been part of an official lineup. And what a lineup! Logan joined the Fantastic Four in the same insane saga we mentioned earlier. Fantastic Four number 347 to number 349. With the original members gone, a new emergency team was put together. And Wolverine was called in alongside none other than Ghost Rider and the Grey Hulk. That's right, three of the most brutal characters in Marvel. And another member will reveal at the end. In this formation, Logan didn't hold back on the style. He came in slashing, hitting first, and asking questions later. It was the kind of attitude that completely contrasted with the usual tone of the Fantastic Four. But it gave the team a unique flavor. Even though his stint was short, this saga became legendary. And the craziest part? It actually worked. Seeing Wolverine, the eternal loner from the X-Men, fighting alongside a demon biker and a mafia-style Hulk was the kind of crossover only the 90s knew how to deliver. And the best part? Even being the odd man out, Logan proved he could play as part of a team when needed, and still left villains shaking in fear with just the snap of his claws. Spider-Man. You might think Spider-Man's been everywhere in the Marvel Universe, but what not many people know is that he was also part of one of the craziest lineups in the history of the Fantastic Four. Yep, Peter Parker was the fourth member of that legendary team alongside Ghost Rider, the Grey Hulk, and Wolverine. Spidey brought his humor, agility, and smarts that only he's got. In the middle of three tough guys, he was the voice of reason, and of course the jokes. The dynamic was so absurd and fun that the team became known as the new Fantastic Four. And to this day, fans are still asking for a return of this unexpected lineup. But it wasn't just in that saga. Spider-Man has been part of other versions of the team, like the Future Foundation, wearing a white and black high-tech suit that had everyone drooling. There, he took the Human Torch's spot after his temporary death and helped Reed Richards with several scientific and cosmic missions. Long story short, Spider-Man didn't just join the Fantastic Four, he stole the show. Whether through action, intelligence, or charisma, Peter proved he could be part of any team and turn everything around him into something special. So, did you already know that all these heroes have been part of the Fantastic Four? Which of these heroes would you want to see in a new Fantastic Four lineup in the MCU? Or even better, who would you never put on the team? And if you're into diving deep into Marvel's behind the scenes, don't leave without clicking on one of these two videos that are popping up on your screen right now. Want to understand where the first family of Marvel came from? Check out the video with the full history of the Fantastic Four, from their origins in the 60s all the way to the most recent story arc. Prefer the darker side of things? Then click on the video with the full story of Victor Von Doom, the smartest and most dangerous villain in the entire Marvel Universe. Pick your next nerdy destination and let's keep this journey through the coolest corners of pop culture going.